Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Push Pull Podcast. I'm HVAC Jake, and I'm here with Julian Finbow. What's going on, man?
Hey, not too much, Jake. What's going on with you?
Same old, same old.
All right.
But we got a special guest here today. We got James Hatfield, and he's with LiveSwitch. Oh, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I wish I was HVAC James, but I'm not as cool as Jake today.
Yeah, I coined
Yeah,
that recently, so that's my new nickname. So
you got in a good time at that, eh, Jake? You grabbed that. I don't know if it's official, but
yeah, it's on Instagram. It's official. So yeah,
that's it. That's the level of
yeah, buddy.
official. Yeah, so James, thank you very much for joining us. To get started, do you want to give us a background on yourself and how you got into the mechanical business side of things?
Yeah, so over 20 years ago, I ran painting and power washing companies. So I do know what it's like to live on a ladder and get the work done. And from then, I made a jump into tech 20 years ago. A partner and I took a company from nothing, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. And we recently partnered with a company there in Vancouver, Canada, with another technology, and we are deep in it in the home services. And we're excited to kind of talk about how we're disrupting the HVAC industry. So I'm excited to get your wheels spinning a little bit after this episode today.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
There's a football helmet behind you. I'm a big NFL guy. I'm a wannabe NCAA guy. What team is that?
Okay, so this is my state school I went to, NC State, but I'm a huge football guy. I actually used to have 500,000 followers for NFL. Did some podcasts with Tiki Barber, and
Oh, really?
yeah, oh yeah,
That's
I
cool.
know a lot about fantasy football, and I actually put out an app for one of the first draft guides ever on the iOS for helping people draft their teams. So I'm a big NFL nerd.
That's hilarious. Wow. Honorable mention Tiki Barber. So you had a podcast on that topic and you had Tiki on.
Oh yeah, I did it with Google. So Google reached out to me and wanted me to be one of their sports guys. I don't know if you know Tony Cianetta and some of the other folks like Matt Barry and all the rest. So
Okay.
I was doing radio shows with those guys, and my whole focus was on data-driven decisions for waiver wire picks. So, but eventually I had to put that to bed a couple years ago after we had our fourth kid. Something had to give. So I start companies and nonprofits, and I'm all over. So you gotta the kids come into the equation, you start making changes.
For sure, yeah.
That's wicked, man. So you were in North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, in the mountains here, and been here for 13 years. Started a nonprofit 13 years ago, and today we've been dealing with a bunch of forest fires, so it's been smelling like smoke all day today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I flew
Yeah, we've
over.
had fires up here too before, not recently, but you see the
Yeah,
smoke and yeah, it's been pretty crazy lately. So,
that is brutal. But yeah, beautiful place. I was just saying, view from the plane looks good. Haven't been there yet. Before we get into like more real content, I gotta ask the Metallica question. Is that your name's pretty like on point, Metallica lead singer, right? How's that? Do you
Yeah.
get that a lot, I
So,
guess?
oh yeah, you're gonna go two different ways. One is correct and one is not correct. So
yeah,
Metallica, we're one letter off,
yeah.
right? Hetfield. So, in
Yeah.
the states here in American history, my family is the Hatfields and McCoys. So, if you ever read the book Huckleberry Finn, where they have the feuding families, that was a parody off my real family. And yeah, my great great uncle is Devil Anse Hatfield. So, if you ever look up Hatfields and McCoys, it's actually Kevin Costner played my great great uncle in the History Channel. So, I've got a lot of American history in my DNA.
That is wicked. Okay. Um, so yeah, we're both in Canada. We've been to the States a bunch. I was just there a few weeks ago for IIAR in Arizona. So another great place. But yeah, a lot of odd stuff going right now with the States and Canada. It's March 2025, the time of filming this. So I don't know if that's shaken up anything for you so far. Me and Jake's world has kind of been the same, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, it hasn't really shaken us up much. I mean, like I said, our company was founded in Canada about 16 years ago. So we have a good chunk of our staff in Canada and a good chunk in the US. So we try to get along. That'd be good, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay, great.
we're not in working in the field anymore, so we're not seeing that heavy, issue with equipment costs and that stuff going on, but it's definitely around. I hear it from my students and different things, so but yeah, it's definitely something that we're dealing with. So,
We'll get through it.
oh yeah.
So that was LiveSwitch from 16 years ago, James.
Yeah. So you guys actually probably have seen our stuff, touched it, and never know it was even us. We didn't enter home services to about 2 years ago, but prior to that, we power all kinds of stuff, especially in sports entertainment. So we did the Super Bowl this year and last year. If you go to an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, that's our stuff. If you watch the WWE wrestling where they had during COVID, where they had a bunch of TV screens in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Thunderdome, that was us. We powered all that. So
Really?
yeah. So we took this technology and we started reinventing, and here in the States, the 911 phone call. And that actually ended us leaving like a pathway back into home services. So I'm coming back home to where I'm from. My partner actually had a landscaping company. So we're feeling very at home now being back in home services, but using the power of what different governments around the world use, Super Bowls, the 911 calls. And now we're bringing it into home services and we're disrupting everything in HVAC. So get ready to buckle up because I'm about to blow your brains, hopefully.
All
Amazing.
right. Yeah, so maybe in the more like that stuff's pretty eye-opening to hear about from Live Switch, but maybe in the more from mechanical business conventional perspective. I know just chatting a second before we got started, you mentioned a cooling and heating contractor in Chicago, which is a great place. I've been lucky enough to go there. Do you want to kind of run us through in a standpoint of like an HVAC contractor, what the application is?
Yeah, it's going to be multiple things. So we're going to take a look at what we call the entire customer experience, right? And so we're going to look through the lens of the people that are paying your bills, right? As well as your staff. First and foremost, we're going to talk about the initial inspection of what's needed. So on the front end, on the sales side, then in the operational side, and then the follow-up side. Now that everybody has these things called a smartphone in their pocket with 3 to 4 cameras in them, we're going to tap into them and start using them, saving trips in the truck, follow-up trips, and then also on-site documentation to kind of cover your backside.
Nice. Yeah. So is a big part of it quoting a lot of the times?
It's a section of it. So we typically welcome to the age of Amazon, right, where we all expect our packages overnight or in less than 2 days. So everyone's been conditioned to we don't like to wait for stuff. I don't like to even wait in line for my sandwich. So like we don't want to
Yeah.
wait for when the HVAC unit is down. When it's cold in the house or too hot in the house, we come a knocking. I don't care if you're commercial or if you're residential. We want that fixed immediately. Nobody likes, oh, I'll be fine for a week. No. When I'm going to Google, what does everybody do? They go to their unit and they act like they're going to fix it, right? Everyone has to look at it. It's almost like when you see an accident on the highway, you've got to like stop and look at it like you're going to help. No, just keep on driving. Just like if the HVAC unit isn't working, the
Yeah.
typical resident will go and look at it. They don't know what they're looking at. So the first thing they're going to do is grab their phone and they're going to Google HVAC near me or heating and air near me. And then what are they going to do? They're going to look for who has the most stars. Then they're going to call you or go to your website and plug in their information because they want you to contact them. And what are you going to do? You're going to hop in your truck. You're going to put an hourly wage person in there. You're going to drive across town. You're going to take a look at it. You're going to bid it and try to win it. I got that pretty much dialed in, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So now it's time for some change. Okay. It's time for some change. So we're going to start bringing everyone into the right now. This is what's happening. This is what your competitors are already doing. This
Hmm.
isn't like science fiction. This is here and now. So now what's going to happen when they make that call? Well, even before that, what our customers are doing is they are putting a sticker on the HVAC unit. If you're in electrical, they're putting it on the breaker box, heating and air, excuse me, in plumbing, they're going to put it on the water heater or toilets. They are putting their logo as a sticker, their phone number, and a QR code and saying, hey, if you got an issue, scan this QR code. So you can scan the QR code, take a video of the issue, and then it's going to upload to the technician. Okay. Because what we're trying to do and what our customers are trying to do is box out Google. I don't want you going to Google. If I'm your HVAC guy, I don't want you shopping around. But
Hmm.
the problem is, as customers, we forget who we use sometimes. Like I got my roof redone 2 years ago. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you the name of that company. It's not good for referrals. So you're trying to claim your territory. claim your property. So step one, slap a QR code on it, and this is the first place where video is going to come in. Okay. If the QR code isn't on there and they do the Google Near Me HVAC, when they call you, now what we're going to be able to do, and I can teach your technicians, your salespeople to do this in 5 minutes or less. If they can send a text, they can do this. This ain't thinking man stuff, right? So you put in the text and you hit send, and it will send a text and no apps. No one has time for apps, right? This is what we were doing with emergency response. You can't stop an emergency and download an app, and nobody wants
Hmm.
another app anyways. Now you just send a text, they tap it, and everything is geared up for third-party assistance. This is not a FaceTime call. In fact, it's the reverse of FaceTime call. And it's going to record everything. You're going to tap into their cameras and take pictures. And what we're trying to do is get your face in front of the customer as fast as possible. That's how you make your money, right? Because we've all had it where someone books with you and 3 days you got an appointment. You call up 3 days later and you're like, hey, I'm coming out. And they're like, don't bother. I got somebody else. They already came out. It's all about speed to lead, race to your face. I was up speaking at a home service conference just a couple weeks ago. And I said, hey, who here, their number one salesperson is their AI bot? Raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand.
Yeah.
That's not how it's done. That's not how it's done. Customers want it done quick and they want to know that they can see you. And that's from the customer point of view. From your point of view, as someone who's getting ready to fix it, you want to see what the problem is. And even if it's worth your time. Because get in that truck, I don't just want to like drive out to say hello. I want to drive out to get your money and fix your problem. But if I can tell you don't have the money and it ain't going to work out, I don't want to drive out. So I'm protecting myself. And that's just the start.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's unreal.
I see
Yeah,
it being helpful, Jake, and like people who are in the entrepreneur position of the company. Like if you're the owner and sole proprietor of the company and you do like all of or a lot of the service and there's a couple people, like that stands out to me that it's a time savings and it's a use of technology to kind of get a leg up. And what was that? It
for
was
sure.
speed to
Speed to lead, race
okay.
to the
Speed to
finish.
lead,
I like
race to
that.
face.
I haven't heard either of
It's good.
those.
It's good. So I have one question. So commercially, I feel like this would be like awesome, right? Because you're going to be able to get in the door somewhere and have a sticker put on this equipment, and there's going to have to be that first introduction. But let's say residential equipment. How do you get the stickers or the QR codes on the equipment the first time? I guess it would be like the first time you come out, hey, we can service all your equipment. Let's put these stickers on all your equipment, and then you have an option. This is your option to call or whatever.
That is, yeah. I don't want them thinking about anyone else. And if a
Yeah.
new tenant comes in, if it's commercial or if it's a new resident, I already want to claim that. Like, oh, I guess this is my HVAC guy. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right. So first, if you're already got a customer, put that sticker on there.
Yeah.
Or what a lot of folks are doing is also just sending out mailers or magnets
I
to
was thinking that
commercial or
too. Yeah.
residential and claiming what isn't even theirs yet.
Yeah.
Right. Because, hey, put this magnet on the fridge, put this magnet, on your unit.
Yeah.
And if you ever have an issue, we're here to service it. It's
Hmm.
literally just claiming that territory. And so that's definitely a big part of the front end work. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to the operational work where you're got your project managers involved, your senior and junior technicians, and then after the work is done. I mean, we're just
Hmm.
getting warm. We're just getting warmed up right now.
Yeah, for sure. No, the mailers are good because I know I see a lot of the mailers come through, but they're just a flyer and nobody looks at them. They don't.
No.
But if there was something incentive, like I remember one time Enbridge did this, it's our gas company up here.
Yeah.
They said there was a scratch and sniff on it, and it was hilarious because it's like, have you ever smelled gas? Well, scratch this. So it was interactive,
I
and it was
remember that.
yeah.
That was
So like if there was
unreal.
a sticker
We're
to go
capping.
along with it, like saying, "Hey, we want to be your provider. Put this sticker on your furnace or whatever." It's an incentive to actually do something about it instead of just reading it on a piece of paper and throwing it out. So
That's right. Like,
yeah.
hey, in the future, your equipment's going to break. Hate to tell you.
Hmm.
And when it does break, you're not going to want to wait.
Yeah.
So slap this thing up there and let's get at it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's huge. Um, one thing that's interesting I wanted to ask you about. So I do quite a few plant tours. So every, 2.5 months, I go to a industrial plant. I take a group of students. So I'll teach classes of between like 5 and 15 students. and we'll get as many of them that are available in the area to come out, and we'll spend, 2.5 hours at the plant going over the equipment operation, the components, where things are, different processes and procedures. So I don't know if like that to me, it's kind of sounds interesting to be able to get some of the students who are further away in a kind of a call format to do like a virtual tour of a plant. I don't know if anybody approached you about that
Yeah,
before.
you can do virtual tours. Also, while you're touring the plant, instead of just taking a bunch of pictures and a bunch of videos on your phone to upload them somewhere, which nobody really wants to do anyways because it's painful, you can just log in right from the browser and hit instant record. And in this recording thing, we've come through because people have their punch list or they do their dailies or they do virtual walk, they do their walkarounds. You can just hit the play button. And when you hit the start button, you can record a 10-second video, a 10-hour video. There's other pieces that are there that are thoughtfully designed. One is there's a pause and play button. So you can just hit pause, like no one wants to see or walk into another part of, the
A
facility. And then
hallway or something.
you hit play and then get what you need, hit pause, go next thing, play. And while you're hitting record, you can also take pictures while you're recording. And it all
Mhm.
just goes to the cloud. You literally could just lose your phone. And the other thing that's unique is that it'll even work in crappy and no internet situations because we
Okay.
have technicians that are going underground, that are in rural areas. So it can even cache everything in the browser. It's very nerdy, but it'll cache in the browser. And even when you get to LTE or 3G, it'll still upload everything into your cloud. And that way, now you can do a bunch of things with that video, right? You can download it. You can
Hmm.
post it anywhere. You can share it with anybody, whether you need to share it with students, whether you need to share it with insurance, whether you need to look back for training purposes, right? Or if you're in the middle of redoing something, you're going to want to document it because I can't remember what I ate for breakfast. So, God forbid, I got to remember something I did 2 years ago. Now I've got a instant replay. Could you imagine if they took the instant replay away from the NFL? We'd all go crazy.
No.
Now I'm giving you the instant replay for your job, for documentation. This is where we're headed. I mean, having this level of documentation, verbal documentation and written documentation sucks. Really. A picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth 10,000, right? We've all heard that stuff. So now let's use that and abuse that. And we have unlimited storage. I mean, we power the largest platforms in the world. So you can't dime us
Yeah.
out. So go crazy, take your phone out, do your virtuals, do your walkarounds, and put it all in the cloud for when you need it, for even for now or for later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
wicked. That scenario you mentioned with no service and the upload at a later time, that's pretty sweet. Is that referred to as store forwarding? I'm thinking of another nerdy term, or you're saying uploading to the cache later.
Yep. So we have a ton of computer scientists on staff, and we had to figure out a way because I've got one of the largest solar companies that install solar fields in the middle of nowhere all over the country, and they'll be in situations where they really don't have internet. So we had to come up with a thoughtful and scientific way to do that. And the browser allows now for you to caching all of that into it before you hit an actual signal, and then you can just put it right into the cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, because me and Jake definitely worked in some places where you're in the middle of a concrete box and no reception. So good for that. It's actually kind of nice though. Sometimes your boss can't get a hold of you. They're like, oh, I can just do my job. This is good.
That's right. That's right. But you're going to need to document it because now we want to see eyes on everything. It's all
Yeah.
about transparency now. No more, you know, we just need it. We need to protect ourselves, especially from a claims and insurance standpoint. And we want to get our eyes on the business. We've always gotten our ears and written on the business and verbal on the business, but now it's time to get our eyes on everything. And we're just going to get better because of it.
And I know you're mentioning about it not being an app or not having an app on your phone. What does the platform look like? Is it like different levels to it, or is there like one access point? Or
Multiple access points.
okay,
Access point number one, you can just access it right from your browser, right? You just
okay,
log in and go. Second access point, we're under the hood of Service Titan, of Jobber,
okay,
of
yep,
large, you know, platforms that everyone's using. In
yep,
Hmm.
addition, we've even launched something where it's an extension in your browser. So if you're even on like a homegrown CRM, but we're bolted under the hood because even the largest companies in the world, this is why you don't see live video. We're only one of four companies in the world that do this. One is Google. They don't give a lick about HVAC. There's a company in China. I don't even want to tell you what they do, but you can imagine with live streaming, we have no interest in that. And then there's another one. But we decided to go back to where we came from, like as owners of the organization, and go back to our trades. We're tradesmen. So we just happened to make the jump from living on a ladder to being, the high tech. In my case, since I'm from the South, redneck. So that's where that's where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
right on. That's good. Yeah.
something Jake and I mentioned kind of before we got started. Is just something as maybe simple or basic as locations of entrances to plants, where equipment is, kind of things that are located in the building, and to be able to use that. Like Jake, the idea was to be able to support your staff like ahead of their visit, kind of thing. Is that what we were getting at?
Yeah, for sure. Like I've had lots of calls at new buildings and you got to go find where the keys are. You got to
Yeah.
find where the plant manager is, or you got to find this or get that phone number. But if there was some, face to face or even a recording that, you were there before and you did the setup, you had everything there, the stickers are on, this and that, and you set them up. So then they're like, okay, this is the site you're going to. Watch the video, and it's going to give you a good idea of what's going on.
Yeah. What you can do is what we call a project, but you would just set up the site, say ABCDEFG site, and then you can take recordings of everything. Here's how you get in, here's the entryway, here's how we deal with the breaker box. And you just upload it all to the same site, and then you label it. You can just label it, and people can search, and then they'll go right into the site and they'll see all the typical things. So you don't have to repeat yourself 20 times. You're just like, just check our, because you can share it with anybody and even make
Hmm.
comments on it, upload documents, upload photos, upload videos, and then people are prepared for what they're walking into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely it would be unique on the commercial side again. Like I'm always thinking, like just having the QR code on all the pieces of equipment, and the customer comes in, whatever, the boiler's not working. Oh, okay, click, picture, uploaded, boom, right to that technician or that company, and that technician's already knows what the issue is.
And if it's a very high end client, like someone that's really paying the bills, you can make custom QR codes where if they scan it, you'll even know what piece of equipment and what location it's at.
Yeah.
You don't have to even guess.
Yeah, I know. So I worked at Johnson Controls in out of Hamilton, Ontario, and they were sort of kind of getting to something like that. So they rolled out this QR code thing where they could inventory all their equipment and put all that data in there. But it was very, very basic. There was no video, no, not even pictures. It was just data,
Mhm.
and it was okay for what it was worth, but it was proprietary to their company, right? So like you couldn't scan it and like have the customer or the company notify that there's a problem with it. It was just for the technicians to come in, scan the QR code saying, I'm working on this piece of equipment and I'm actually on site fixing this piece of equipment. So, but yeah, yours seems like it's definitely more beneficial to the customer, really. So,
Yeah, we're just way down the field because we're unique in the fact that we're one of only a few companies in the world that do this, and the
yeah,
fact that we powered like extreme, scenarios. So we can
yeah,
come in and really, we're focused, like I'm not a CRM, I'm not a, you know, just fill in the blank. I am a video company. And I'm able to do that in a way that is well beyond what anybody's ever thought of. Right. And so we're excited about that. And, hence now we have thousands of users using this every day. So it's been wild to just watch every industry really get disrupted. It reminds me of, and I don't know if you guys have been around long enough, you look kind of young, but like I had Nextel walkie-talkies when I was running my businesses. And you guys remember those
Yeah,
things?
yeah.
oh
I
yeah.
know about it.
Okay. All right. All
We
right.
used to use them actually when we were snowboarding. It was before the cell phone days, and we'd go
Yeah.
snowboarding, and my parents would have one or friends would have one, and we'd be talking back and forth that way. So
Oh yeah. I mean, from CB radios, then
yeah,
to Nextel walkie-talkies, and this is like now instead of just your ears, we're getting your eyes on it. So I
yeah,
think that's really what I'm excited about bringing to everybody is this generation's version of a CB radio or Nextel walkie-talkie.
yeah,
Yeah, what's nostalgia? I mean, I'm older than I look. I can't grow facial hair. So, but the Nextel, it was a cell phone, but it had a
Yes.
walkie-talkie built in case the service was bad because it's more reliable. So I feel that. Yeah.
I remember those ones. They were like a brick and yellow or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love mine. I mean,
Yeah,
so that's really it just reminds me of that. And because I'm not an engineer, right? Like engineers over engineer stuff. Like I've spent my life on a ladder. I know what it is to not have soft hands. I always make fun of my engineers, like, oh, y'all got soft hands. Like y'all don't know what we go through every day. Like our tools have to work every time, but also have to be so simple that it just works. We like stuff that is straightforward and gets the job done. So we really try to stay in that lane, and it's kind of like built by us for us type of approach.
And James, earlier you mentioned that you were under the hood of Jobber LiveSwitch was. So can you explain like what maybe for everyone who doesn't know, explain what Jobber is and then explain what LiveSwitch, how it's integrated and what the relationship is like that.
Yeah, so there's all these different CRMs, customer relationship management tools. One is Jobber. You've got like Service Titan. You got Bluebeam, Procore. If you're listening, you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
This is an area where you're documenting everything, right? You're putting your timelines, you're putting your budgets, you're putting the contact information, you're putting location. It's the whole like thing that you got to take weeks of training to learn how to do. And then you still are like, I don't know it all. Right. And that's good for what it is. Like, we're not a CRM. We're not Jobber. I don't want to be. Right. I just want to be the one little button. I want to be the walkie talkie, the CB radio in
Yeah.
Jobber, where all you're doing is hitting one button. And then now you're connecting with video to another staff member or a customer, or you're taking a recording and all those videos and photos go right into that client file, right? Because people, they don't want a bunch of apps. They don't want a bunch of places to go. Like, I just want to go into my Jobber. I want to go into my Service Titan, and I just want to hit the button and be done with it. And so we really try to stay there. We want to be the easy to use company. Like I was listening to one of our customers who's been using us for a year, and same kind of thing. They've got a CRM, and they're like, "Oh, we learned how to do LiveSwitch in like 5 minutes." You know, we even when we were going to see them, we always go and we get boots on the ground. We get in our customers, like sit next to them, and we ask like, "Hey, is there anyone in your company that hasn't used LiveSwitch yet?" And the owner was like, "Maybe just a cleaning lady." And we're like, "Bring her in here, bring her in." So we brought the cleaning lady in there, and we said, "We're not going to train you. We're not going to tell you what this does. We want you to try to text somebody." And she got it without us even no training.
Yeah.
So for us, like, I just want to be the one touch button and go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
simplicity is definitely the way to go because I know a lot of the older techs are like, oh, I don't do technology or do anything, but they're adapting a little bit. Um, not as readily available as some of the younger people, but yeah, simplicity, keep it simple, right? So,
Keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, most of them, even though they say they're not technical, they all whip out their smartphone, right?
oh yeah,
All of them.
everybody's got one or two.
They give you one when you're born these days. They're like, "Welcome to the
Yep.
world. Here's a smartphone," right? So
Yeah.
it's a matter of the stuff
Yeah.
they use on their smartphone is dead simple,
Yeah.
right? The phone call is one swipe and you answer it. That's what that's the lane I want to be in. So I can take the guy. One of my guys was like, James, I got a 90-year-old on this the other day. I'm like, yeah, you did, because it's so easy. Your mama can do it.
Hmm.
Like that's really what it comes down to. If you can send a text or tap a text, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then, so James, you gave the timeline like LiveSwitch has been around for 16 years, but you come into the company at what time? How long ago was that?
So my partner and I built a company from nothing. It's a multi-billion-dollar company in the financial technology space. It's still around today. Many people I hired are still there. We got out of that and got into philanthropy. We started doing nonprofits. We built an organization called Inmates to Entrepreneurs. We put thousands and thousands of inmates through our program to teach them how to run a business because we believe in second chances. And it even ended up becoming an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. Check it out. We won a bunch of awards for it. So we
Okay.
came in 4 years ago, and like I said, my partner, he came from the landscaping side, and I came from the home services side. And I'm also a product guy. My grandfather invented cable television, so I'm a tech nerd, and I
Wow.
come from
Okay.
that. And so I wanted to build something cooler than my grandfather because I'm just a competitive dude. And so I spent time like I got the chance to work with the chief of police in Washington D.C. to reinvent the 911 call, and then from there I was able to kind of work through like, oh my goodness, like I just met a home service guy who's like, James, you're sitting on a pot of gold. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, It's going to save me trips in my truck, and I'll show you. I'm like, will you pay me American money for it? He's like, oh yeah, or Canadian money, or I have customers all over the world. I'll take any kind of money, and I'm even
Yeah.
down to taking Bitcoin if you want to. But like, we'll take any kind, and we'll get you set up. But that's really being able to bring that into the fold. And then we sit with our customers, listen to them. Like we're on the job sites. We literally go and work on the job site and watch them use our stuff. We're built different. I mean, like I said, we're the nerds, but we don't have soft hands. Like we're going to be on your job site, with dirty hands and dirty fingernails in it, and we're figuring out like how are you really using it. And we keep finding more and more ways that people use it every day. So it's been really cool
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, it's
Good.
amazing.
Yeah, I think I got kind of like one bigger form question as a final one for that, but I kind of want to bring it back to, trades and your experience with that initially to kind of round this out. So, like you'd mentioned, you founded a painting and power washing company, and Jake and I are both company owners as well. So, founded companies, and we just kind of wanted to get your that process of that initial company, let's call it, or previous company, and how that startup process was, and kind of how that was, because a lot of the people around us are founders of companies, so kind of wanted to bring it back with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think like most of us, the first thing we do when we get into any kind of service-based business is we try to apprentice ourselves somewhere, whether we go to trade school or whether we find someone who knows what they're doing. I just found someone who knew what they're doing. I didn't go to trade school, but I learned how to do it the right way. And then from there, I'm pretty bold. I'm an owner, right? So I don't care. I'm gonna go and get to business. So, I even started knocking on doors if I needed to get to fill in for the week. If we were short for a job for the week, I'd just take the weekend and knock on doors and I'd fill up the books. Like that's just what we needed to do to make ends meet. But then from there, we grew the business, multiple crews. You know how it goes. And I knew I was really weak in my financial knowledge. Like I'm great at execution, sales, hiring, building out the organization. But I was not so good when I sat down with my bookkeeper. They'd be speaking like English to me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So at that time, a couple decades ago, our state schools were affordable. So I was like, I'm just going to go to state school at night, and I'm going to learn numbers and business because that's where I want to get better. So I did that. And while I was running my companies, I was doing that. And when I graduated and got my degree there, I just so happened to meet another guy who was graduating, and he was in finance as well. And he created this financial expert system where you could take an income statement and balance sheet, put it into the technology, and it would tell you in plain language as a business owner how you were doing. And this was like, we were one of the first financial technology companies on the planet. It was kind of wild. Now I look back at it, and we started growing that through bookkeepers and CPAs, and then bankers got a hold of it. And like I said, it became a multi-billion-dollar company. So it was a nice transition. I had never expected it. I thought I'd always stay in the trades because my grandfather was in the trades. And my father always wanted me to be in the trades just because I knew if I stayed in the trades, I could feed my family, I could build a business. And I just felt really great about that. It has everything I wanted to be. Um, I didn't expect to be in technology. That was not my goal, but I ended up making the jump with my partner, and lo and behold, I haven't been able to leave now that I've kind of crossed over to a different bridge. But coming full circle and being back in the trades, being on stages, like I mean, I'm secret shopping folks. I'm teaching people how to do all this stuff with tech, and
Yeah.
I can relate to it because I know what it's like to run multiple crews. I know what it's like to pay those, make those salaries and make the bills, and um, hire, fire, promote, all that good stuff. So I'm kind of just built a little different, I think, than the average tech nerd.
Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure. I know it takes a lot to run a business, let alone multiple businesses, but um, it comes with the learning curves and ups and downs and all that stuff. So yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, that path, it's funny, the you explained so many different directions traveled in your path to get to somewhere you didn't initially anticipate being. And I think like me and Jay can relate to that a lot too. Like, he's like, oh, I guess this happened, now this happened. You don't really know until you get
Yeah.
there, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I thought I was going to be in the trades, like working with my hands, like
Yeah,
forever.
me too.
And I did a little bit longer than, I definitely thought. Like 14 years I was in the field. working on the tools. Now I'm teaching, and my wife's and I we own we're in the education sector, so we're dealing with some stuff on that side. And Julian stayed in the trade side, but he's getting more into education and development and stuff like that too. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I can totally relate, having with our inmates to entrepreneurs. I mean, I used to actually taught karate for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
so now I'm teaching on stage in a different way. Like when I'm going
Hmm.
around teaching on stages on podcasts like yours, really trying to get the wheels turning of people thinking about how they're running their business, operating their business, and advancing their business. Now that things continue to change all the time. So my hat's off to you guys for spending that time training and giving back to the industry, which is why you have a podcast. Anyone listening is already
Yeah.
two steps down the chessboard because they're spending time educating themselves. And I think, that's how you get to where you guys are, is you're running your business, but you're thinking about eventually how to either grow your business or turn around and give back to your industry like you guys are doing.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole goal of this podcast was just to chat and kind of fill in the gaps. Like there's some stuff you do a lot of research online. There's some topics they don't talk about or whatever, and we can chat about it, or we can even just talk about stories, or have people like you on and just open their minds differently, and try and get them thinking too. So
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, there's book smarts and street smarts, and sometimes you need to fill in the gap with a little street smarts.
Oh
Guys that
yeah.
actually have had, you know,
Hmm.
long, hard days, working on the job,
Oh
like
yeah.
learning from professors that have never really done it. I don't know. For me, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, you ain't walked in my shoes before. So, and
Yeah.
not that I
Oh, for
can't
sure.
learn from them. I still want to be humble, but having
Yeah.
someone who's done it for 14 years like yourself, Jake, it kind of changes things when you're, apprenticing yourself and really trying to learn the trade.
Yeah, and the whole time I was learning, and then once I got my mechanics license, I was teaching everyone. Like I didn't want to hold anything back. I'm like, here, I want you to know more than me. I want you to be doing my on call and out late at
Oh
night and all
yeah,
this
that's a
stuff,
good
and
one.
right. So I had a couple apprentices that were like, yeah, I want to work and stuff, and I'm like, hey man, I'm a phone call away. You need me, I'm here for you, and it just transpired over to becoming an educator, professor at a college now, and um, I'm just down to earth and just trying to, I got the real deal. I got pictures and stuff. You want to see some cool things, and I'll tell you how it is. Like, I'm going to teach you the theory, but I'll make it relatable to, actually practicing in the field, and they appreciate that. So,
I love it. Yeah. And then you can give them that practical side too, the
oh yeah,
business side of town, the hiring, the firing, the being a boss, or
yeah,
being a good employee, making
yeah,
sure you're doing it, or being a good manager, project manager. And then the other things that no one talks about is also the networking. Like if you're really going to take your business to the next level or take your career or even education, like learning how to network and put yourself out there. The fact that you guys are running a podcast already speaks highly to that you guys recognize like, hey, I've got to find a way to put myself out there. I've got to find a way to give back. But I think a lot of the last missing hole, and I do a lot of teaching around this, is how to network because I've gone into industries that I've never been in HVAC. I've never worked on an HVAC unit, but here we are talking about it in I think, probably a thoughtful way. I sit at the feet of people that do this, but I teach people how to get into industries and grow their own personal brand, grow their business, and then become thought leaders. Like I'm on stages of all these different industries talking because of some of the stuff. I mean, we can get into it. I can teach you guys how to network and become one of the biggest thought leaders in your industry if you like. Maybe we can even end towards that. It's like giving that plus one of like, let me show you guys how to network yourself in all the right ways.
Well, I wanted I saw that term earlier, so I mean that I think for me a good spot to go to is just like what is a thought leader?
Yeah, a thought leader. So look, there is book smarts, right? So you spend your time educating yourself. That can put you on a stage. Second, put yourself around other very smart, capable men and women, right? Like you spend enough time with Jake. There's a reason he has students, a reason Julian, you have students. You guys are taking your knowledge and transferring it. So if I'm around enough of thought leader means you know what the crap you're talking about. Thought leader means like you're the real deal. You're not like some, hollow whatever. You actually have spent time either in the books, around others, or finally with dirt under your fingernails, like on the job. Like you're the real deal. And if you start mixing all three of those things together, especially maybe putting a little gray hair on your face, or if you can't grow on your face like
Yeah, up
Julian
here,
on your head,
up here.
you
Yeah,
know, or up there,
I have a
then
few.
yeah, you're worth listening to. Like, are you worth listening to? Do you really have the things that I haven't heard before? Right? Are you going to make my wheels spin? Are you going to change my business or my profession? Right? And so I think that can help you elevate and separate you because you know when you listen to someone, you're like, ah, that's a lot of fluff. And then you listen to someone else, and you're like, I call them serious people. That's a serious person. They know what they're talking about. So put yourself
Nice.
around enough serious people, you're going to become one, guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I've definitely surrounded myself with some special people, entrepreneurs, and I'm always trying to make sure that I'm the lowest one in the total pole. I want to get to your level, and just networking, and I've met some people through my business that are now really good friends of mine, and some are doctors and different things too, and just trying to network that way, and not necessarily even in the HVAC trade or in the industry, but like wherever in life, right? And you're doing the same, right? You're like, I'm in every avenue doing Super Bowl and whatever,
Yeah,
trying to level up always. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. And I think, if you're listening to this right now, like, I don't need a network. I'm like, you can't afford not to. I mean,
Hmm.
you can just kind of do your thing. But if you really want to continue to level up and learn and grow, you need to put some real time into networking. And it's not hard. It's not as hard as you might think, but it is going to be something that you're not comfortable with. One, you got to put yourself out there, and two, you actually have to reach out to other people, right? I happen to use a platform called LinkedIn, and you can use this very simply. You go to LinkedIn and literally only connect to 20 people a day. If you try to connect to more, you'll get blacklisted. Okay. But go into your local area, start with people in your profession and hit the connect button. Don't send them a message. Don't do anything else but hit connect. And you can do this while you're watching the game, while you're sitting on the toilet. Maybe that's too much information, but it's only going to take you 20 minutes a day, right? Every day. You do this on the weekends as well. Here's what will happen for you. Mark it down. I'll guarantee you it will work because I'm not special and it's worked for me over and over again. And it's put thousands of dollars in my pocket and it'll put thousands of dollars in yours. So you start connecting to 20 people a day, local area, same industry. Next, after you do that, people surrounding your industry. If you're an HVAC, start going after electricians, going after plumbers, going after painters, even go after vendors. Don't worry, not everyone's trying to get the credit card out of your back pocket, right? They're actually well connected. Then you'll start your LinkedIn feed will start filling up with stuff, and you can see who likes things. So a credible, serious person, see who likes it, and then you can start connecting with those people. You're going to start building out your network. You're going to start seeing things on your feed, videos, education, podcast, books, things you need to be thinking about. Then what you're going to do is you're going to start taking pictures, photos, videos, and you're going to say things and you're going to share once a week. I'm not talking about writing a thesis. I'm saying get up there and share a before and after. Share your crew down in the mud one day. Share when you screw up. Share when you got something like a new book that you're reading, a new podcast like this one that you found. What will happen for you is other people will connect with you. And eventually, when you hit connect with someone, you're going to have 200 mutual connections. So if I reach out to Jake and I hit connect and he sees 200 mutual connections, you know what Jake is going to think? If he doesn't know me, he's going to be like, why don't I know this? He's going to feel kind of stupid. Like,
Yeah,
I
for
should
sure.
probably know this guy. I'm
Yeah.
connect, yes. And he'll look at my feed and he'll see all the things I'm sharing and resharing. And yeah, again, for some of you, you're gonna be like, oh, this makes you want to take a nap or not even think about this. And that's fine. But for those that take me up on this challenge and do this now and start doing this day by day by day, it's a compounding thing. It's going to change forever. And you will meet people and you will get to know things. So I'm gonna just lay that down and challenge everybody listening with that because it'll change your whole career. Guaranteed, 100%.
Yeah, I
cool.
got it written down right here. I'm gonna start tomorrow.
I like it.
Yeah. No, networking
Awesome.
is great. Yeah.
That was good. I mean, Jake, that's everything I wanted to ask James. We went into a few different things, We talked about Chicago, talked about Metallica, facial hair, gray facial hair.
I just got
Uh,
mine trimmed the other day.
Looking good, Jake.
anything, Jake, you want to add or ask before we sign off?
When are we meeting for beers?
Oh,
Name.
soon. Where's the spot? Buffalo? Is that pretty close?
Yeah, it's a little hop, skip, and jump for him, right? So
Yeah, man.
It'll happen. It'll
we need
happen.
some nice warm weather, so maybe we'll take a trip down to the Carolinas.
That's right. Or we
Yes.
can do virtual
Beautiful.
beers. I kind of work for a video company.
Yep.
Okay.
Ah, there we
Yeah,
go.
don't worry. I don't
We'll
ever
keep
trust
us
a city
connected.
chef, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get some time there. But yeah, guys, thanks for having me. And if anyone wants to connect, I'm easy to get a hold of. Shocker LinkedIn, James
Yeah.
Hatfield, or go to our website, LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch.com. And if you click a demo, ask for me. If you're listening to this, say, I'm listening to this podcast, Push Pull Podcast. I want to talk to James. That way you don't get all my sales team on you. They're great people, but now we can talk owner to owner or, boots on the ground to boots on the ground and have a good conversation. It doesn't have to be about technology, but I'm easy to get a hold of. And, I mean, if you're listening to a podcast like this, you're already 2 clicks down the road. And, Julian, Jake, you guys are doing your industry a service. You guys are putting yourselves out there and changing the game. So if you haven't subscribed to this, you're crazy. Like if you're in this and you're listening to this, before you hit hang up, subscribe to this, or else, like, what are you doing? Why are you listening to this? Come on, and share it. Share the dang thing. Put it on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Say this is the podcast I love, and share it so other people, because that's what it's all about. It's better to give than receive. That's
Yeah,
a
we
classic
appreciate
saying.
it, man.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks
Yeah.
for coming out, man. It was a blast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, James. So yeah, appreciate it. And that is HVAC Jake, and I am Julian, and we'll see you next time on the Push Pull podcast. See you guys.
All right, peace out.